Oh my god. Okay, so when I made the He-Man Season 2 reviews, you all might have gathered that I may have intentionally skipped the episode The Good Shall Survive. I've made my dislike of Buzz Off the Bee-Man well known in my He-Man reviews, so you probably gathered that I skipped this episode because it was so bad, right? Well, no, actually. Surprisingly, I had sort of forgotten about the whole episode, and maybe it was just the workload of that review series that blinded me to it. However, when I sat down again after almost 2 years since I last watched this episode, I was stunned, appalled, and even a little disgusted. You know that I'm serious when I say this might be in the running for the worst He-Man episode of all time. Okay, let's run through the plot real quick, so you'll know at least what's going on. The episode begins with the bee people storing honey, and by the way, this is the point at which it's worthy of noting what my biggest beef with the bee people is. It's not that I'm put off by the idea of bee people, but can you imagine living every day of your life listening to these voices?
That's the last honey container. Good work.
Will I be brave and unselfish when I grow up?
My God! Did Filmation really have to give these guys the most annoying voices in history? I realize they want to make them seem different from, you know, the regular humans, but what voice director thought this would sound good at all? And again, I have nothing against bees. Wasps can go fuck themselves, not bees. Well, as it turns out, one of the honey containers is leaking and the honey wakes up the Tychons, these insect people who have been living in stasis for a long time. They bust out, eat the honey, and then head to the bee people's hometown where they hope to get more honey. Skeletor sees what's happening and decides to turn the Tychons on the royal food storage next, in the hopes of starving the Eternians. He-Man gets knocked down in the battle with the Tychons, and they indeed raid the royal food storage. However, as it turns out, they accidentally eat a baking soda pie that Orko had made. A baking soda pie.
That's Baker's Supreme Pie.
Man-at-Arms also points out that the Tychons can be reasoned with, and that they are only selfish because they haven't been taught any better. So He-Man then finds the Tychons with aching stomachs, helps them out, and then turns them on Skeletor. And then they raid Skeletor's kitchen to replace the whole kingdom's food supply. Yes, let me just run that by you. The Tychons eat the whole kingdom's food supply, and then Skeletor just happens to have enough food in store to replace it all. Even though it's established earlier that the Tychons need to eat several times their own body weight, this is just a really stupid clean sweep that makes absolutely no sense. So, in case you haven't caught on yet, this episode has pretty lame story writing. In fact, there isn't even a whole lot that happens in this episode. We have He-Man facing off against the Tychons once, and then the heroes defeat Skeletor. The rest of the episode is just filled with uncomfortably stupid dialogue.
Who are you?
Tychons. But I thought Tychons were extinct. I think someone forgot to tell them.
Too much baking soda can make you sick. If the Tychons ate that baking soda pie, they're going to have one big stomachache.
Anything for more honey.
In fact, even though he's in the episode, Buzz-Off doesn't even do a whole lot. Why are we giving you more screen time than Stratos again? No, honestly, somebody tell me whose great idea it was to sideline the king of the Birdmen with the hero of the people who never opened their eyes. So from a content standpoint, this is already a frickin' stupid episode. You have the Tychons amassing a huge attack, which we never see. We have a bunch of annoying bee people. We have this little kid bee wanting to be useful and delivering some painfully corny dialogue in an episode already full of it. And, oh god, is that Webstore? Motherfucking Webstore. Okay, is there any redeeming quality to this episode at all? Nothing is happening, the episode logic makes no sense, Tychons are really just a bunch of morons, and even Orko isn't able to make me laugh in this episode. You know it's bad when even Orko's not entertaining. My least favorite He-Man episode, of course, was The Royal Cousin from Season 1 of He-Man, which featured probably the single most annoying character on the show. Yes, even more annoying than Buzz-Off. But to be fair, Jeremy was such a huge bag of dicks that at times you could even laugh at what a shitty person he was, mainly because he was so over the top. So again, is there any redeemable quality to this episode? Wait, is that Cobra Khan? And he's using his powers? And he gets defeated in an original way? Holy shit, we have our saving grace. Yeah, so for a grand total of 5 minutes that he's in the episode, Cobra Khan actually helps out a bit. Not much, though. The big problem here is that nothing of consequence really ever happened. Hell, the king isn't even pissed at the end that the Tycons ate all the food. He just decides to make them the guardians of the royal food storage as an act of good faith. He even awards the little kid bee who only delivered one useful piece of dialogue in the whole episode. Okay, Randor, I think this is the point where you need to stop drinking before midday. This is an intervention. I don't even know what's worse about this episode, the annoying bee people or even the fact that nothing interesting happens for 90% of the whole episode. It almost seems like this episode was being put together on the back burner and they cut every corner imaginable. It's not just a poorly written episode, it practically has no content in it whatsoever. Even the conflict with the Tycons gets watered down progressively as the episode progresses, not that it was very heated to begin with. I'm honestly at a loss to even explain how this episode could be this bad because it was written by Richard Pardee. While his track record for He-Man scripts wasn't exactly flattering, he actually co-wrote one of my all-time favorite He-Man episodes, The Creatures from the Tar Swamp, with Paul Dini, admittedly one of the most renowned scriptwriters for the show. But listening to the dialogue, you get the feeling like Pardee didn't even know what show he was writing for because the dialogue is so hacky, so obviously preachy, and not even remotely funny.
Then the king will be forced to hand over the secrets to Castle Grayskull or the kingdom will starve.
No, these do not belong to you.
Maybe if we could get them away from Skeletor, we can teach them to give and cooperate instead.
What probably takes the cake is the finale joke, where Orko presents another disgusting concoction of his, which explodes in everyone's face.
Maybe we can use your pies next 4th of July.
The fucking 4th of July. Are you fucking kidding me? So, there you have it. The Good Shall Survive is just an episode with no content, terrible writing, and lackluster animation. This episode's lack of effort makes it feel like the episode director didn't even give a shit about how it would all turn out. The dialogue is so awful, I can't go on for more than a couple of minutes at a time without cringing. And the storyline is also pretty fucking lame. The Tycons could have actually been fairly menacing if done properly, but now they're just as annoying as the bee people. Everybody survives at the end of the episode, so I guess the irony of the title should now be apparent to you as well. Until next time, I have the power, so can you.